Well, Turbonetics have got a lot of muscle in their booth this year for SEMA 2013. I'm talking about that for two reasons. I'm talking about one, the charger behind me, and two, of course, Flex Wheeler in the Guinness Book of World Records for bodybuilding. What brings you down here for SEMA this year?
Well, it's an honor to be in Turbonetics booth. They're one of my major sponsors. We have two 64mm twin turbos on here, so it's just an honor to actually have the car here and displayed in their booth and everything.
Well, you've had a long and illustrious career in bodybuilding, and you definitely haven't lost any size since retiring, I've got to say. What got you into the car world to begin with?
You know what I mean? I think it's every little kid's dream to be in the cars. You got Hot Wheels when you're younger and playing with stuff like that. And I bought the car. Actually, it was a Dodge 2007 Charger, and it was a 3.0 liter. So what we did is actually we changed it to a 7-liter 426 stroker, and then later on we added the Turbonetics to it by the help of Turbonetics and Hellion with their turbo kit. So it's a little bit of a screamer.
Well, I've had a look around the complete package, and it is a really complete package. Everything from under the hood to inside to the rims and everything else. How did you decide on all the different components that you were going to add?
You know what, Reggie was really a big help with all the components. When we built the 7-liter actually by Josh Richcart in Los Angeles, he's a builder of the engine. It was my dream to have a car that had tremendous horsepower that I could drive anywhere I want. Actually, we drove the car down here from California. It's one of my daily drivers. So, so I go to a lot of shows, and you see guys doing burnouts, and they'll break and they'll laugh and be giddy about it. And I was like, I don't want to be one of those guys. I love cars, but I don't ever want to break. So he's like, okay, well, we got to do this, we got to do that. So Reggie was a lot of input with that, but Josh Richcart was the main ingredients to building the engine and having it as healthy as it is now. Right.
So essentially, you're saying it's pushing some huge horsepower, but it's still it's reliable too.
Yeah, it's very reliable. I've driven it to SEMA for the last 4 years. I've driven it to New Mexico a couple of times. It is my daily driver, and right now we dynoed at 815 to the rear wheels, and I think it's about 892 as far as torque to the rear wheels.
When it comes to the paint job, which is something you just cannot walk by, it's out there. You didn't really have that much say in it, did you?
No, Demented Customs, James, he was the main nucleus behind the theme, and then Jason Orbley is the guy who did all the airbrushing. And they're my two main sponsors with the paint job. So, I was giving him my ideas of what I wanted. I said, I wanted this burgundy wine. I'm in love with the color. And he goes, okay, well, that's about it. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, I got an ideal of what I want. I go, well, don't I have any input in that? He's like, no. I'm painting the cars. My ideal is my theme, so deal with it unless you want to pay. So I just shut up. But he came up with a beautiful ideal. His ideal was to basically tell my story through photos and make it look like a film where I'm going around a car. And I was like, man, that's kind of gaudy, to have your own photo on your car and driving around. He goes, no, don't worry about it. It'll look nice. People wear Michael Jordan stuff and this, that, and other, and it'd be nice. So it came out beautiful. I couldn't be happier about it.
Do you have one particular part of the car that's your absolute favorite?
You know what, just driving it, just having that much horsepower that's accessible and having it so healthy and being able to drive. I enjoy driving it down here, and just more than anything, just to see people get a kick out of a car that looks like this that I actually drive, because most of the cars probably on display here were trailered down here. So, I'll be taking off later on about 4 o'clock in the morning, Friday, going back to California. But that's probably the most enjoyed that I get out of it, is just driving. And whatever I want, I can hit those turbos spool up underneath. And that pretty much gives the guys in Subarus and stuff like that a shot, because most of the cars, they do centrifugal instead of turbo. So, that's probably the most joy I get out of the car, having something like this that's great that I can actually get in and drive and take the kids to football practice or whatever it is. So, that's just beautiful.
That's got to be a lot of fun rocking up to football practice for them in there.
It is definitely. He gets a kick out of it, my son does, Darius, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming back to SEMA again. You always make a splash down here, especially with this car.
Thanks for having me.
That one. Yeah, good to see you, Blake.
Thank you very much.